Today is October 4th, 2023, and this is the Warcraft Orcs and Humans demo from 29 years ago, October 4th, 1994. This was the first ever public view, public access version of Warcraft Orcs and Humans. And it came with some of the same menu battles that we're used to. It just plays them for a couple of seconds, as we can see here. One of the differences is you will actually see peons and peasants walking around within the battlefield. It also cycles through them in a sequential order. I'd already loaded the first one a little bit earlier, which is why it didn't skip it. The original battle, which we're going to end up seeing last, is actually the only one that is identical to the release. Every other one, has peons or peasants running. There's more buildings. The camera view is shifted over a little bit, so on and so forth in these opening menu preview battles, which the battle demos are a lot of fun. Here's the original one, the first one that you see whenever you load up the retail version. And of course, in the retail version of the game, it does not cycle through them like this. It will play the demo, then it will go back to the main menu. Then, if you wait longer, it will play the intro movie again, the intro cinematic, and then it'll play the next demo battle, so on and so forth. Now, a funny thing is looking at this ordering info. See, it says, this is a demo version of the intense real-time fantasy strategy game Warcraft Orcs and Humans. 2-player option, command either orcs or humans through 24 campaign scenarios within 2 separate storylines, accurate. More than 20 additional scenarios that can be customized for unlimited gameplay. Demons, elementals, my favorite unit. Warlocks and the dead, magics, dungeons, temples, so much fun stuff. All major sound cards supported. Thankful for that. But look at that. Suggested retail price, $69.95. Games just got that expensive. $70 is now the standard, at least here in the United States. You can purchase a copy directly, write or call. There's Blizzard's info there. I like that snow ending to their phone number. But let's go ahead and jump into the game, and I can show you some of the differences. Here's the menu. One big difference initially is there's no voice acting. So, typically we'd be hearing, "As a test of your abilities, the king has appointed you as regent over a small parcel of land." I'll spare you that. We'll move in. Looks like the map is actually on like a table, like a battle layout, and then it's blue up top. I believe it's just black in the retail version, so that is a bit of a difference there in this first look at Warcraft Orcs and Humans. Now, another big difference.
Yes, sire. Yes, sire.
If you hear that, yes, sire,
Yes, sire. Yes, sire.
that's either a different
Yes.
voice actor
Yes, sire.
or it hasn't been fully processed yet.
Yes, sire. Your will, sire.
That's the regular voice line.
Yes, sire. Mighty. Yes,
So we
my
got
lord.
this here.
Yes, sire. Yes, my lord.
Yes, my lord. That's different as well. But one of the biggest differences, I already posted a YouTube short about this, but let's take a look at the human barracks. So, as we construct it here, you'll see that the barracks is going to look a little bit different. We're going to see that so this sprite, this construction sprite is actually the same in retail, but the finished barracks in retail has a covered roof. The construction sprite actually matches this original demo look of the barracks.
My lord. Yes,
So
my lord.
we've
Yes,
got
my
that barracks looking a bit different. The retail version also has windows on the towers. I can probably overlay an image of the sprite for you there. But one other glitch that I noticed, let's go ahead and kill our peasant. Okay, so it didn't happen there in Mission 2, although you can see there are only sprites for the first death, and then he turns into an orc.
Yes, my lord.
So the first death sprite shows him as a peasant. Likewise with the footmen, it will show them as a footman. But then he turns into an orc. The orc decay sprite that you can see there,
Yes, my lord.
which you'll see with this footman here real quick. So as you can see, he's clearly a footman, and then suddenly, boom, he's an orc.
Yes, my lord.
Another bit of a difference is the footman costs 400, and you'll see it down there, 450 gold in this demo. He actually costs 400 gold in retail.
Yes, my lord.
And then peasant is the same. Road is the same. If I can show you a wall, the wall is substantially more expensive,
Lord.
making a already barely useful thing even less useful. And then another interesting thing, in retail, gold mines always have increments of 100 for the amount of gold in them. Here we can see gold left 3,072. I tested it in a prior run, and what actually happens when you mine that final 72, it still gives you a full 100. So the gold mine will collapse, the peasant brings back 100 gold. Anyways, the next real interesting thing that I'm going to show you is going to be in the final mission of both the human and the orc campaign. So we're going to go ahead and jump to that next. Here is Human Mission 3. This is where things get interesting. I'll go ahead and read you this description. A small village near the borderlands is being attacked by an orcish invasion force. You must take what few troops remain available to the king and defend the town for as long as possible. If the king can raise funds, reinforcements may be on the way. Not looking good for our friends here. Run away! Oh boy. Well, that's a lot of grunts. So yeah, both of the campaign missions end this way. The orc one ends with a huge alliance force of footmen. Human force, rather. It is just orcs and humans attacking. But we'll get a nice little debrief after this. You failed to achieve victory. Okay. King Lane has desperate need of your continued leadership in the battle against the orc invasion of Azeroth. The coffers of the kingdom are being bled dry by the war. However, so your contribution is required to raise money for more armies. You will be able to augment your forces with brave mounted knights and powerful conjurers that can summon creatures to fight for your cause. There are also great dangers that await you, as there are mines to be explored, monsters to be vanquished, and the evil forces of the orc warchief Blackhand to be conquered. The fate of Azeroth awaits. How epic! So yeah, this is the Warcraft Orcs and Humans demo from October 4th, 1994, 29 years ago today. There's also some interesting information out there from the alpha version of Warcraft Orcs and Humans that I'm not aware of any playable versions being available, but there are some screenshots that were given to the press, so we can go ahead and take a look at those as well. Alright, and here's actually some alpha content from Warcraft Orcs and Humans. This is information that was given to the press for, various magazine releases, so on and so forth. This is actually the original Warcraft Orcs and Humans logo. So as you can see, it's actually the same Warcraft font. I'll go ahead and place it side by side with the retail logo, which ended up shaping, the retail logo ended up shaping the Warcraft logo as we know it today, even in World of Warcraft. But I think it's really cool to see this older variant of the logo that they had here. And this screenshot I find very interesting. We see incredible looking walls. Looks like you can break holes in the walls. You can build towers for your walls to place units upon. And possibly even gates were a part of the wall system initially. We can see much earlier variants of the human buildings. We can see a farm. We can see, a farm on the left, a barracks on the right. Possibly, I don't know if that burning structure just below the gate might be a town hall. And then also on the orc side of things, while the footmen looks the same, well, of course, that's for the humans, the orcs seem to appear to have a ogre fighting for them. And they also have these interesting goblin guys fighting for them. I actually really like that sprite, and sadly, it did not make it into the final game. The humans have brigands on their side, which makes me think that maybe those were intended to be some lighter infantry for the humans initially, before being moved to their role as just a, wandering monster in the dungeons of the brigand. This screenshot is quite interesting within a dungeon. We can see ogres advancing from the lower left, but most interesting, I believe, is the ogre death sprite that we can see there. In retail Warcraft Orcs and Humans, whenever you kill an ogre, like in the Dead Mines mission, the ogre just explodes and leaves no corpse behind. There's nothing to resurrect for, orc necrolytes. There's no residual view of that ogre, and it appears that it did originally have a death sprite, and I'm guessing maybe it just appears to be rather gruesome, so perhaps they cut it out to keep the game a little bit more on the cartoony side of things. I don't know. Warcraft 1 actually was one of the darker Warcraft games of the 3 RTSs that came out. And also, once again, in the lower right, we see that little goblin guy that I like. Another item of note is that the grunt portrait icon is very different from the final retail icon that came with the game. Here's a very blurry sprite. My apologies for that. It appears to be a human base, actually, with a town hall, a barracks, a farm, and I don't know what else that is, but we do see an older variant of the orc tower there. We see ogres with the orc army and also those little goblin guys. Here's another screenshot where it's slightly better quality than the last one. We see those ogres and we see those little goblin guys, but now we have the orc buildings coming into play. Those gourd-looking structures that they have in Warcraft Orcs and Humans, which are quite appealing, actually. And then more of those, that tower is quite interesting. Different looking from the final release as well. And then below, I'm guessing, is a pig farm and maybe a barracks on the right there. And then very low quality screenshot, but we can see that the footman is labeled as a knight. The buildings that we see, I believe, are a town hall, a barracks, and a farm. We have that very cool-looking alpha wall from Warcraft Orcs and Humans, and then also a very narrow bridge that did not make it into retail. And then this here was actually just labeled, I believe it was on Wowpedia, as Warcraft Orcs and Humans concept art. I didn't get any source on where it came from, but it looks accurate if that's what it's intended to be. We see a grunt, a spearman, a warlock, and a raider. So quite interesting. I hope you found this information as interesting as I did, and it's quite cool that it's actually 29 years ago this was the first ever public look and access to Warcraft Orcs and Humans back on October 4th 1994. I'm Mick, this is Mickcraft. Please like and subscribe, and I look forward to catching you on my next video.